Welcome back to Ballboy Media. I'm your host LJ, and today we're talking about the guy pictured right in front of me, Nick Richards, who has been traded to the Phoenix Suns. Let's get right into it. So here are the details of the trade. Special thanks to Bobby Marks for having these assets listed, as well as Sham Sharania for reporting the trade first. Phoenix here in this trade is getting Nick Richards and Denver's 2025 second-round pick, so that would be this upcoming draft, whereas Charlotte is getting Josh Okogie, Denver's second-round pick in 2026 and 31, and Phoenix's second-round pick in 2031 as well. To note, Josh Okogie is making $8.25 million this year, whereas Nick Richards is making a steady $5. So why now? The Suns are currently 19 and 20, and are sitting at 11th in the Western Conference. Now, that's not to say that the season is completely over. We're about halfway done, but the Western Conference, in terms of the middle teams, is completely scalable. Right now, they're only half a game behind the 10th place Sacramento Kings, and are only 2.5 games back of 6th place in the West. So, if the Suns were to look to be moving up, which I would assume they were, based on the scenario they're in, it really would not take much. All they need is to get hot, maybe put together a couple wins on separate occasions, and next thing you know, they might be 6th, and that's really the ideal placement for them. You never want to be in the play-in game if you're a team with so much to lose. Again, for the why now, Kevin Durant is 36. His clock is ticking, as we see with his cohort Steph Curry and LeBron James. Now, they have been making moves that are win-now moves, such as benching Bradley Beal and Yusuf Nurkic. This was more a big deal with Bradley Beal, who has consistently been a starter, and we've seen him be an all-star even in the past. And then what really, I believe, was the exigency for this trade, which really, made this trade happen, would be the alarming loss yesterday to the Atlanta Hawks. Now, you might look at this and be like, all right, a 5-point loss to Atlanta, which Atlanta, in my opinion, is a good team, and they have had several good wins over the course of the season. However, the deal with this one would be, all right, Devin Booker scored 35, Kevin Durant scored 31, and the team still lost. What was the issue? Well, the issue was that the team gave up 20 offensive rebounds, 10 of which were to Onyeka Okongwu, who had 21 points and 20 rebounds yesterday. I believe that, the Suns and Matt Ishbia and the general manager and the management all looked at the fact that the Suns were out-rebounded yesterday 54-37, and, really came to terms with, okay, if we want to be successful, we're going to have to be better on the glass. Now, in terms of Phoenix's outlook, they're pretty short-changed for picks now. They have 3 picks remaining until 2031, and those would be Denver's second-round pick this year, which they just received, as well as their first-round pick in 2026, which is not the most favorable. Washington, Orlando, and Memphis all have some priority to it over Phoenix, so I'd expect that pick to be pretty low. And then they do have their first-round pick in 2031. But between the 2027 draft and 2030 draft, the Suns have no picks at all. They are already in the second apron. They're over $70 million over the cap before this trade, so they're going to be, looking at high 60s still. And that is a big mountain to climb, and I don't expect them to get under that second apron soon. However, they do still need to win. Now, in terms of this trade, I have mixed feelings. Definitely, I feel that Nick Richards is a good player. He averages roughly a double-double when he starts. And, one thing that I'm a little confused about is why this trade. Now, I too have watched Phoenix and questioned their center rotation. They've been questioning it themselves clearly as they have benched Yusuf Nurkic. And my question would be kind of, what's the remedy? And now apparently this is. One of my questions, was, is Oso Ighodaro a player where you want to be playing him 12, 18 minutes a game? Apparently that's not the case. Another thing that I was looking at was, you send Nurkic to the bench. Is there a trade for him? Now, I'm not quite sure if there is, and if there is, I'm not sure if it's a trade that Phoenix would want to make, because I think they would have to package a pick with his contract in order to send him away. And I think in order to do that, the team it's, I would say, not a long shot, but if I'm a team with cap space, I'm not quite sure that this is the move that I would use to fill my cap space. Because if you're a team like the Pistons, where you can take in players, I would rather take in a couple smaller deals and get assets that way in exchange, or as opposed to being Phoenix and sending Nurkic and a second-round pick this year, which it's Denver's this year, and we know that Denver is going to make the playoffs. Hopefully, that's how it's looking right now. That's going to be like the 50th pick, the 52nd pick, somewhere in that vicinity. And on top of that, you have to take on Nurkic's contract. I think that's a challenging situation for a team like the Pistons, or even I thought he might go to the Hornets, in terms of from a salary perspective and from the assets that they are adding on to Nurkic. So I think he's stuck in Phoenix for now. We'll see what happens there. But another concern I had was Mason Plumlee's minutes. We know Plumlee, he's getting up there in age as well, and I wasn't sure, is it sustainable to have him starting at center? Now, I believe this deal is good. Nick Richards is a younger player, and should should Phoenix be able to retain him, I believe that, he's already on deal for next season. I believe if they can keep him for the future, he will be a good piece and a good starting center for years to come. I am not sure if he is going to be a win-now player for them. Only time will tell. I cannot predict the future. But I think he will definitely better that group that we've seen in Phoenix play center, and I think that will help them to win more games coming up. Now, in terms of Charlotte, they have no need to win this season, so I think this is a good deal for them. Josh Okogie is a defensive-minded player. He's a solid forward, averages 6 points a game, and I think that he will, kind of like Josh Green has, pair well alongside LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller. Now, the team is 8-28 as of right now, and they will be picking this year. Their pick is lottery protected. It would be going to San Antonio should they make the playoffs, but at 20 games under 500, I don't think that's in the cards for them this season. I do think adding Okogie is a good move, and I think at this point, if you are the Hornets, you're just looking to gain assets and get stable. I think stability alongside a player who, on a night-to-night basis, is as unpredictable as LaMelo Ball. I think that getting something around him, getting these pieces around him, Okogie is on contract for next year as well, will definitely better the team, because if you're looking to make a playoff push next season, I think it's definitely feasible if you get the right pieces around LaMelo Ball. So getting assets, which they did, they acquired 3 second-round picks, and getting more stable is something that I like for Charlotte. Thank you for watching. Please be sure to check out my other videos. I just did a short on this situation when it came out, and consider liking and subscribing if you liked my content. I'm going to be doing this a lot, going back to college, and I want to see this thing take off, so I can only do that with your help. Comment your thoughts down below as well. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this deal. I just gave my thoughts, and thank you for watching.